Hey there, we are going to be making some elderberry syrup. We're going into the fall here in New England and it's the end of August, so I thought this is the perfect time to be making our elderberry syrup, and I wanted to show you how super simple it actually is to make elderberry syrup on your own. So all you actually need is a half a cup of elderberries. They're the coolest little berries and dried. And if you don't have them growing, they grow wild here in the Northeast. If you don't have them growing, you can actually purchase your own. I happen to, when I can't get any outside, if the deer have gotten to them before I did, I buy them from Mountain Rose Herbs. You need 2 cups of water. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to boil your elderberries, and I actually already boiled them. And you're also going to need some honey. I use local, raw, unfiltered honey because you want to get the best out of that natural goodness. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to take your half a cup of elderberries and your 2 cups of water, and you're going to put them in a pot, and you can bring it to a boil, and then you're going to let it simmer with the cover slightly ajar until it reduces by about 1/3 to 1/2. Usually takes about 15-20 minutes, so I already did that process. And then we're going to take the elderberries, and we're going to pour them into a strainer because we're going to strain out all the natural goodness from them. And be careful, elderberries stain like crazy. So you want to make sure you get all the elderberries out of the pan. And then you're going to take them and you're going to squish them down, because you want to get all that natural juice out of them. Now, some people will keep these, the mushed elderberry, and you could use it in baking. It's going to add a nice flavor to it. Plus, you get the benefit of the elderberry, which is actually going to help boost your immunity. And I swear, in most cases, it will actually help you with your allergies too, if you have seasonal allergies, between the elderberry and the natural honey. Then you're going to have a jar. I use bell jars. You could use any jar. I reuse everything. And you're going to pour the elderberry syrup while it's very hot into the jar. And then you're going to add, I add about 2/4 of a cup of honey. This is the sticky part, probably the hardest part, getting your honey out without getting it all sticky all over you. You pour all that wonderful honey right in there. So what you're doing is you're getting the benefit of the elderberry as well as the benefit of that local honey. And you're not supposed to put honey in boiling hot liquids. So my elderberry did sit for, maybe 3 or 4 minutes to let it cool down just slightly. Maybe it was 5. So you're gonna take all that honey, and then you're just gonna mix it in the jar. And there you go. You have elderberry syrup. So I know a lot of people are starting to buy it in the health food stores, but you could so easily make it at home. So in the winter, when we're really in cold and flu season, or if I know that I'm coming down, I could feel I'm coming down with something, or everybody else around me is, I'll actually put a piece of ginger. Don't bother peeling it, don't bother chopping it up. What I do is I just take about an inch, half-inch piece. I toss it in the pot while the elderberries are boiling. And you're going to be taking everything out and taking just the liquid parts anyway. So then you just take your ginger out and you're done. You've already done what you needed with it, and I really don't reuse it. I just throw it away. So what you're going to be doing with the elderberry syrup, I store it in the refrigerator. You do need to keep it in the refrigerator if you're making it yourself. And in this cold and flu season, pretty much actually starting at the beginning of September, I will take 1 tablespoon every morning, and I take it kind of it's part of my morning routine. You take your vitamins, I have my cup of tea, but I also have my tablespoon of elderberry syrup. If I feel like I'm coming down with something like a cold, or I feel flu coming on, or I just feel draggy or run down, I will take 1 tablespoon an hour for about 6 or 7 hours, and then start it again the next day. If I'm feeling better, I just do my 1 tablespoon in the morning. If I still feel a little draggy or like I'm coming down with something, then I'll start taking it every hour again. It's one of the best things you could do for your natural immunity, and it actually really tastes good too. So I hope this was helpful for you. So what it was, just again, it was 2 cups of water, a 1/2 cup of elderberry, and in this particular one, I use about 2/4 of a cup of raw unfiltered honey. And if you want to, in the middle of the winter, when everybody's getting sick around you, you just throw in a little bit of ginger and let it boil it down with the elderberries. I can tell you that I hardly ever get sick, and if I do, I tend to get it not as severe as everybody else around me. So I do contribute that a lot to my elderberry syrup. It even smells good. And when you're boiling it down, as it's starting to kind of boil down, you'll start to smell that elderberry smell in the kitchen, and you can kind of know when it's almost ready to take off the pot, off the flame. So I hope that was a help for you, and I hope you start making your own elderberry syrup.